Coming in off of another awesome day yesterday. Gonna be touching on that at the start of the video. All right, everyone. So just getting to a quick recap of yesterday. Continue a nice little stretch that we have been on for the past 3 days, going 6 for 8 on Monday, 4 for 4 on Tuesday, and then 3 for 3 yesterday. Now, obviously, that's a great run. That's hitting about 80% of the time. Season average for the 9 to 5's bet of the day is about 61% now after the good run. 60, let's just call it 60%. So that's my way of saying that. Do not be surprised if over the next 2 days we see some regression. Like, this is a hot streak that we're on right now. It is due to regress. But this is why I always talk about long-term profit. There are going to be days that are going to be great. There are going to be days that are going to be bad. It's just a data thing. Like, I'm expecting to have a bad day coming up. Obviously, hopefully that doesn't happen today. We do have a couple of good MLB props that hopefully will negate that. I do just want to call this out as well. The hitting fantasy score prop hit once again. And the reason I want to call that out is because, man, guys, the top hitting fantasy score prop has hit 5 straight days now. And it's one that has consistently been hitting definitely a majority of the time. I don't have a data point on it, but it's probably around 70% of the time. It's been crazy. And so we do have another good hitting prop that I want to get into today as well. Let's go ahead and get into the slate. Oh, just a reminder, make sure to like and subscribe, guys. That does help out the channel. Trying to get to 100 likes. We got to 10K. I didn't even bring that up. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. 10K subscribers. No joke. It's a personal achievement of mine. It actually felt really good. In some way, it kind of validates what I've been doing all this time. So I do really appreciate that. That's how focused I am on this stuff. I totally forgot about that. That's a milestone achievement that I didn't even think about at the top. But yeah, thank you. All right, enough with the fluff. Let's get into it. So the biggest issue that I'm going to have with this Lakers versus Nuggets game is that it went as expected. And so we were able to have a good day because of that. But now I don't exactly know what to do. I would say the props are correct. Some of the ones that we were on, like Jokic fantasy score, wasn't one that I said like directly to be on for the bet of the day, but it is one that I called out during the video. That got bumped up from 61 to 64 fantasy points. That one's a little bit scary to me. Now, I do still think that we can roll with like Jamal Murray for over 41 fantasy points. More times than not, especially with the D'Lo defense and Schroeder defense, like I think he's going to get there. I think he's going to be productive. And, you know, if he doesn't, that's probably just meaning that someone like Bruce Brown is continuing to play well. But yeah, like Jamal Murray, that's probably the only one that still has some juice to it. These other ones all seem kind of situational. Like we could do a Nugget stack, and if they continue to play well, we could do that. But looking at this game, we can see that the Nuggets are favored by 5.5 points as well. Now it's a high game over and under, which means that there is going to be some scoring. So with that, we probably want to be a little bit more on the Nuggets just because it is going to be a higher scoring game and they are favored to win. So if we're betting the overs, we're probably betting it there. But I want to point out, and when I was doing like my pre-morning research, when I'm just looking through the slate, if you will, I was like, man, I don't really like this game that we got. And then I pull up the cheat sheet and it kind of tells us the reason as to why. We can see, look at the edge that we're getting. Not a good edge. So like the over Vegas props that we're getting based off of the lines, a lot of them are suggesting that it's very tight. Like, look at this. Look at the edge that we're getting on these. None of them are like, yeah, we need to hammer that bet home. Like Derek White yesterday, where it was about a 54% chance to hit, but his projection was like, what was it, 11 and a half, 12 and a half points, ended up gaining 11 points. We're just not getting that today. And so it is a day in which is much tighter. I don't particularly love today, honestly. Like maybe KCP here. That's a decent one we could roll with. We can see the average sportsbook lines has it set at 12.75 with the over odds at about -126. Projected to get 13.9. And he is someone that lately has been, you know, getting some heavy minutes in this playoffs. So yeah, if he continues to get that run, I don't mind it. And the thing with it is, if we look at it, guys, like he has been able to get this over quite a bit for 13.5. Was it 13.5 or 12? 12.5. Wow. So like the last 3 games, he's been able to get that over. It's okay. Like that's the slate. It's playoff basketball, right? Like there's only one game. The bookmakers are going to be tight, especially reacting after game 1. I just don't see that much juice left in these bets. Now I will say maybe D'Angelo Russell has a better game. I feel like he didn't get minutes in the last game for, I guess, 2 reasons. Not that good defensively, but also just had a terrible night shooting. And so obviously if that continues, the poor shooting, he's not going to get the minutes. But only getting 26 minutes, like he should be getting 30 minutes or so. So kind of interesting there. I do expect him to have a better day shooting. Like he's the only one where I'm like, all right, given how he played in the previous game, I get why he's being valued this way, but he's like the only one in which I'm like, oh, there's still something there. Now, if I had to put some props out there for today, I would say like Jokic, yeah, I do expect him to continue to play well. Anthony Davis didn't really provide much resistance, which I was pretty shocked about. Both bigs actually had some pretty good games. Anthony Davis did struggle at the start of the game and then got hot. And then I don't hate the idea of doing like LeBron over fantasy score, but guys, like it's a very tight slate. Maybe some stuff will adjust throughout the day, but I'm just not really seeing any props. I'm like, yes, we need to go out of our way to bet. If you guys have any, as always, let us know in the comment section below. Because to me, I'm like, all right, Jamal Murray, this is fine. This is probably my favorite bet from the game. Over fantasy points, if we need to make an NBA prop, that'd be the one I would go with. Then LeBron fantasy score, then AD, and then we could do the KCP prop. But if we're doing the KCP prop, I just want to point this out, like the over threes makes just as much sense because we are essentially betting on him getting more points, enough points to get to 12.5. And if he's doing that, he's probably hitting 2 threes, 6 points from 3. So really up to you guys how you want to go about using that. Let's go ahead and get into what are going to be my favorite bets for today. So my favorite bet today is actually going to be another hitting based fantasy score prop. That's going to be Mike Trout for over 7 fantasy points. What I find interesting, and you guys will see it here, I'll pull it up, is that we are seeing a very vast difference in terms of the prop line, how Vegas is valuing him minus the PrizePicks line. That's a 2-point edge there, right there. And then what he's projected to get is 10.96. That could be a little bit too high, but still, we got both the average sportsbook line suggesting that the hitting fantasy score should be higher, and then the projected fantasy points is also higher as well. To me, that's going to be my favorite bet of the day as well. Now, like I said, this has been running hot. This is due to miss, but we continue to make these decisions. They'll be correct in the long term. Now, we do have some other good props, and I want to point out this as well, like the over percent, not that high. Okay, so probably should be closer to 8.5, but still projected to get over. And we are getting some other decent ones here for over fantasy points as well. But for the bet of the day, I'm going Mike Trout. Paul Goldschmidt you could roll with. We have this one, which I find interesting. Bo for over hitting fantasy score. Like these are all okay, but the standout one is the Mike Trout bet. All right, so now getting to my next favorite bet for the day. It is going to be another MLB-based prop. We got Perez for over 4.5 strikeouts. Now, the issue with him is that he's going to get a tough matchup today going against the Washington Nationals, which on the season just are the team that strike out the least. So that's a big worry there. But we can see baseball-wise, and I kind of like chasing the pitching props where they have about over a 53% chance to hit. Now, this one did drop as I did this video, so definitely something to monitor, whether you use the 9-to-5 cheat sheet or you use a sports book to validate some of your prop bets. I always say, like, stick with one source. So if you're using something like DraftKings Sportsbook, just make sure that we are still getting a good number. Make sure it hasn't dropped lower than this, but it is one that I don't mind. So let's just look at it a little bit deeper there. So PrizePicks will show you that he did have 7 strikeouts in his previous start, and it looks like he only had 1 start. Now, we pull it up on DraftKings Sportsbook, and we can confirm that. Now, we get to give up 2 home runs. I had an ERA of 2 as well. 2 bases on balls, but he did have 7 strikeouts and he only pitched 4.2 innings. And so that is obviously going to be the worry, is that in 4.2 innings, he did have 88 pitches. The question is just how many innings is he going to pitch? And if he does pitch maybe 5 innings, 6 innings, that would be great, obviously. And then that would increase his likelihood of getting over 4.5 strikeouts. Definitely not a lock and load, and that's part of the reason why I'm kind of cautious about today's slate, because it just doesn't seem like we have that many great props today. And so that will be the bet of the day. Okay, so the best fantasy prop that we're getting, and then I just like chasing good pitcher strikeout props based off the average sportsbook odds. So I'm fine with these 2. But I do just want to show you guys some other good prop bets that are currently popping up on the cheat sheet. If you guys like some of these bets, obviously you can go ahead and make those. So yeah, NBA wise, we are seeing some interesting turnover props. And if you guys are someone that just does EV betting, these would be some good ones, like Austin Reeves for over 1.5 turnovers. I guess I'd be fine with that. The amount of usage that he has been getting this playoffs is kind of crazy. And obviously if he has the ball in his hands more likely to have a turnover. So not a terrible prop there. We can see Jokic as well. Decent for turnovers. You could roll with that. And then from there, we're just not getting that many great props. Jokic, 13.5 rebounds. That's just crazy, right? You could roll with that as well. An under prop, Jokic under 10.5 assists, projected to get 9.2. That's an okay one, about a 53.7% chance for that one to hit. Then we do see like Michael Porter Jr. This is one I don't mind as well. And that's kind of why I'm going through this process to see if I missed any that I might like. Michael Porter Jr. over fantasy score. He has been playing well. I guess my worry with that is that, yeah, due to probably have a bad game here shortly, but still a low number for how productive he has been. And so if we just take in the average sportsbook odds that we're getting on him for all of his props, minus 136% chance to get over 31.24 fantasy points, and he's projected to get 32. The PrizePicks line has it at 27.5. That is interesting to me. And if you guys think about it a little bit, like with these teams having 2 dominant bigs with Anthony Davis and Jokic, that probably does leave up a little bit of open floor for someone like Michael Porter Jr. to have a good game. It really depends on what LeBron's doing, how much effort he's putting in to maybe shade over when Jokic has the basketball. and whatnot. But I don't mind MPJ today as well. And are we getting any other props just yet? Obviously, it's early. I'm recording this video earlier, so we're not really getting any pitching props. Yeah, no, nothing too crazy. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be all for today's video. Make sure to give a like and subscribe to the channel. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. Once again, appreciate getting to 10K subscribers. That's awesome. Let's keep it rolling. Honestly, I want to make this bigger and better each time. Let's have a good slate. And as always, let's keep cashing.